Signs when you have toxic traits. We spend a lot of time and energy trying to pinpoint toxic people in our lives. I do too. But how often do we really look inwards during our search for the self? Hi, this is Jyotika Bedi, founder of Happiness is Love. The truth is, there are times even the best of us show toxic behaviors, traits, or patterns, including me, without realizing it. Here's exactly how to tell if you're being toxic, if you have those toxic behaviors. What this really means is we have to be self-aware and how to really stop being toxic. What is a toxic person? Let's first understand. A toxic person is someone who regularly displays actions and behaviors that hurt other people or otherwise negatively impact the lives of people around them without sometimes not being aware. And they're usually the main instigating factor of a toxic relationship. Of course, there is a difference between being toxic and acting toxic. The first is when it's ingrained in our personality and we actively enjoy hurting other people, sometimes unknowingly. The second corresponds to aspects of our behavior and attitude. Sometimes, again, without knowing it, these toxic behaviors can take us over. Think about it as a muscle into which you're unknowingly sometimes pumping steroids, and soon it looks like the Hulk. The good news is, with a little bit of self-reflection, a little bit of self-awareness, and asking for feedback from others, we can become more aware of these traits and habits in us and eradicate them so we can become better people, better parents, better professionals. So here are a few of the most common behaviors that I have listed that even good people can develop that might actually be hurting those around them, as well as how to change course for the better. Are you ready? So what are the signs of a toxic person? I've been guilty of the same. Number one, you're sometimes sarcastic. The clever retort that's accompanied by a harsh laughter and saying it's funny, we've come to think is a good thing. And perhaps even aspire towards that. That's what we all are made to believe. It's gotten sometimes to the point that people who don't know how to be clever believe that they are terrible, dull, conversationalists. What's the best way? The truth is, say something funny, but it actually is hurtful to the other person. It's actually harsh, and the only person laughing is you, and you think sarcasm is humor, but it hurts. What is the fix? We all know how terrible it feels to be the target of hurtful, harsh remarks, don't we? Especially when we are in a vulnerable or emotional state of mind. So before you open your mouth, ask yourself, how would I feel if I was sharing something about my life or thoughts and someone gave me such a reaction? How would that make me feel? Number two, you deal with conflict in a roundabout way. Conflict, I understand, is uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable for me too. We don't like to deal with tricky or tough situations directly. We like to skirt it around. So we devise ways of getting around them, don't we? But if you're always beating around the bush and then secretly hostility, sullen behavior, stubbornness, sarcasm, all of these things get amplified and it turns around that you are the one who doesn't have the tools to manage the conflict. No matter how logical our arguments are or how upset we might be over whatever is happening, sometimes we are passive aggressive in our pain, and this is not helpful to ourselves and to others. It's like cancer in our relationship. The fix is know that difficult conversations and tough conversations are scary in our heads than they are in reality. We simply haven't had enough practice. The more you have these conversations, easier they become. The rule of the thumb you can subscribe to is to just ask yourself, how can I say this in a way that is kind, and it's useful, it's helpful without attacking the other person, and you can learn skills. There are tools available. Number 3, everything is a competition. Telling someone how you went through a similar experience as they did is different from trying to show how you've had it worse. The first is where you show you resonate with the other person and you use kindness and empathy to connect. The second is a competition. It's true that many people have been conditioned to have, let's say, some sort of seemingly objective matrix of what's wrong. We prioritize physical health, ailments over mental health difficulties, and for anyone who appears to be living comfortably, we dismiss it with the label of first world problems. Sometimes we're filled with indignation if we've been through worse, and we think, how dare they? Or sometimes we genuinely believe someone is just being weak and should just suck it up without complaining, because we have done it ourselves. Can you tell the difference? Importantly, we need to be more aware of these biases and realize that pain isn't a competition. Regardless of a person's conditioning or lifestyle, pain is pain for you and for me and for everyone. When we try to convince others that their situation is not really that bad, that we have had it worse, we are actually invalidating their emotional experiences and we are alienating them. What is the fix? Be aware of why you feel the need to sometimes compete. Is it because this is the only way you feel validated, or you feel some respite from your emotional pain? Sometimes honesty is the best gift that we can really give ourselves. No matter how scary it is, it's the greatest blessing for you. This way we can truly have empathy for ourselves and for others, because everybody is in some kind of pain. Everybody's bearing a burden. If you find it hard to express compassion for someone else, perhaps ask yourself, what would I want someone to say to me in this position? Keep turning inwards. Keep turning within yourself. You'll get your answers. Number 4, you turn everything into a joke. We've all met that person who ends up everything in this line, ha ha ha, all is well, and has to make a joke out of everything. Even the most and the saddest stuff, they make a joke. Maybe it's because we don't know how to deal with the situation or how to deal with the emotions, or we feel uncomfortable as it rips open our old emotional wounds. So what do? We try to escape it via a light-hearted joke so that you can dismiss it and deny it. There is a fix. It's okay. You don't need to have the answer to everything right now. It's okay to not know. And you can learn. You can simply say, I feel a little uncomfortable and a bit uncertain because I'm not used to this. This is a lot more respectful than just laughing, dismissing, judging. And can help your loved ones deepen your relationship, because it really shows that you are being authentic and you care as you navigate through those complications, interactions with your loved ones. Number 5, you want to fix everyone and everything except yourself. Some of us are natural rescuers and fixers. Maybe you've been trained to preempt and solve other people's problems, or we unconsciously get drawn to similar relationships to fix a dynamic when we were helpless and when we were younger. Or maybe you simply just love to provide solutions. You are the solution maker. But this is also a form of emotional labor. And as the work keeps piling up and up and up, so does your distress and so does your resentment. Put simply, other people aren't your projects. And just because we can solve a problem doesn't mean we should jump right in, be the rescuer, be the savior. The responsibility is squarely in the hands of the issue holder, who may not even see it as a problem. You are seeing it as a problem. So what is the fix? Here's the deal. sometimes people aren't really asking for solutions or even for a listening ear, but we unwittingly create trauma from non-existent wounds by probing. What can we do instead is to ask, do you really want to talk about this? If they say no, offer to be there if they change their minds because you've asked. And if a person did not ask for your advice, simply say, I have a suggestion, and then ask, would you like to hear it? And give the other person the right to say no. Additionally, recognize that you don't need to fix everyone and everything. Learn to accept your flaws, people's flaws, because we all are flawed. Help them when asked, and if necessary, set a boundary, especially in those relationships where the other person's attitude and behavior is affecting you in a negative or in an unhealthy way. There's no need for you to shoulder every single person's problem and jump in and save them and then accompany them on their growth journey. Your job is to focus on your journey. Number 6, you secretly crave disaster because of the care you receive from disaster. When we want to make a change, there are usually two sides of us in a conflict. One side desires growth and transformation, but the other one doesn't because it has something to gain from this status quo. Much as we hate to admit it, a part of us may sometimes enjoy the attention from the drama, the subsequent pity party we throw. Tough times happen with all of us. A sign that we love the attention from the pity parties is that we ask for solutions only to shoot them down. It's a way of opening a conversation with someone else, bathing in their attention and care, and convincing ourselves that we're really seeking help, but things never shift. While this might feel good in the moment for ourselves, it puts a lot of strain on others, on our friends and family who need to continue picking up after us. We should, of course, feel free to lean on our network when we need help and support, but constantly injecting negativity into our lives and the lives of others just because we enjoy feeling the extent of this love and attention, even though if it's negative, is not fair. What is the fix? If you want to feel a part of your life, where you want others to feel a part of your life and they want to feel heard and loved, don't live in a train wreck where the majority of your interactions are just centered around getting attention all the time. It's time to give, because giving is receiving, giving positive attention, committing to stop trying to solve every problem and jumping into every problem. Start mastering yourself before you start mastering a situation. Think about a time when good things were good, when you were in charge and you liked who you really were, your words, your integrity, your growth and your energy. Tap into that. Lean into how that makes you feel and use that energy to propel you to be better, to do better, so that you can then be your bestest version. Number 7, you think pointing out someone's flaws will help them to change. I did this too. One of the most mortifying situations is when someone's well-intentioned gathers others to shame you for a flaw, thinking this will whip you into action. We hear of such stories in families where the flaw may be a mental health difficulty. If you do this, know that it is very hurtful and very alienating, and I am guilty of the same. Most of us are aware when we're a shadow of our old selves, and if it is sliding in the wrong direction, we are busy trying to adjust or even sometimes mourn the loss of our old selves. Adding salt to those old wounds only triggers more shame and anxiety in us. So there is a fix. What you could say instead would be something like this: I've noticed this change in you. It's positive, and I'm here for you if you ever want to talk about it. Or if it's a change that you want in them, you can talk to them and give them feedback and leave the ball in their court. Number 8, you tell everyone to just change their mindset. I'm guilty of the same. Someone told a student of mine, just be more proactive, when a professor had actually forgotten the deadline for her scholarship application, even though she had repeatedly reminded the professor for months, and this was her career. She was frantic and sad and then furious with her friends and family. We often tend to tell each other to just cheer up, stop thinking about it, be strong, be more logical. We Photoshop our negative emotions because these feelings are uncomfortable and socially unpalatable. But it is irrational to put a rational filter over emotions all the time. There is a fix to this. The only way to master your emotions and difficult situations is to feel them and to allow others to feel them, give them the permission. We must wholly acknowledge the part in our lives. Our emotions are signals and sources of wisdom, rather than telling other people that just suck it up. We wouldn't like it if somebody said that to us. Unfortunate situations happen and they don't just get reset by the push of a mental button or telling everybody that you need to change your mindset. None of that happens. Instead of telling someone to simply change just the way that they're thinking or feeling, just sit down with them. Be a source of emotional support and comfort, and sometimes you need to say nothing, just be there. Your presence is enough. Let them earnestly convey their emotions out loud to you without you judging them or giving them a quick fix solution. Sometimes this is all that is needed for their healing and for their growth. Number 9, you push your truths on others. When we discover a solution, especially after feeling stuck for a long time, we want to shout out, don't we? From mountaintops. Whether it's, let's say, a secret of weight loss or finding spiritual salvation. We just hope our loved ones will reap those benefits just like us. I'm guilty of the same. And then there's also another deeper subconscious drive that spiritual author Paulo writes about. We believe that an extra person subscribing to our truth makes our truth more valid and worthwhile. Especially if we're watching our friends or family's lives deteriorate or worried about the afterlives of our loved ones, we feel compelled to convert them. But this sometimes backfires, mostly in the end. Forcing our truths down someone else's throat feels just as uncomfortable and invasive as the metaphor suggests. Moreover, just because something's worked for you doesn't mean it'll work for someone else. Solutions must be tailored to someone's specific personality, their childhood experiences, their life experiences, and situations which are specific to them. There is a fix. Remember that you're their loved one, not their doctor or their coach. Your role isn't to save them or rescue them or heal them. Simply be the best example for them. Live your life the way you'd like someone else to have been your role model. Be that role model. When they are ready and start asking you, you can gently open the conversation and share your learnings, your growth journey with them. Because our job is to not fix and save. Our job is to love and care and lead by our example. You cannot change other people. People change because they want to change themselves. But yes, you can influence them. You can inspire change. You can impact change. But you cannot change anybody till they want to change or they have the desire to change. So the best is to focus on your learning, on your growth, on your healing, because this will give you the power. It'll give you the strength and the courage to deal with conflict and crisis in your life. And you will emerge to be stronger and wiser. The reason why I've made this video is because I'm aware of my own toxic traits and behaviors as well, and we're all work and learn. It all starts with self-awareness. Changing yourself is superpower. We are not here to change or fix anybody but ourselves. And when you change, your world changes. I hope this video was useful to you. If you're struggling with any aspect of your life, we at Happiness is Love are here for you. We care for you. We are rooting for you. Keep smiling, keep shining, keep inspiring.